Hello kind people of YouTube and welcome back to another video. Let's take a quick look at the markets and then let's get going with some crypto news and discussion as every day. First up, let me refresh CoinMarketCap real quick. After the flash crash that we saw yesterday, it appears the markets have pretty much stabilized now at a slightly higher amount than what they fell to yesterday, with some coins, some tokens actually seeing minor gains from 24 hours ago. Here in the top 10 we see Monero, Stellar and XRP post pretty much equal gains of about 0.2 to 0.25%. Aside from that, we are just seeing a stabilization and not much movement since 24 hours ago. The market cap is at 203 billion, which is about the same as it was when I made a video yesterday. And the 24-hour volume is still over 10 billion, meaning a bit more movement than we saw a couple days ago. But that has also calmed down a bit since yesterday. Since that main crash happened, there is now significantly less movement again. Yesterday, I believe we saw about $13 billion in 24-hour volume. Bitcoin dominance 54.1%. I believe that is exactly where it was yesterday. So not that much to discuss in the markets today. For now, the worst seems to be over for that crash. We have seen this a couple times in the last couple of weeks, or rather months. We have seen these really narrow trading ranges for like 1 to 3 weeks. And then we usually see the price shoot up or down by anything from 3 to 10%. This time it shot down, but we have seen it go up in similar ways before as well. Let's see how this movement continues in the midterm. It is of course very close to early November now, where we are supposed to get some significant news from the SEC. Their decision on if they are going to approve the previously rejected Bitcoin ETFs is supposed to come out sometime in the first third of the month. And we should also get some news surrounding Bakkt in the coming weeks as well. So November could see some significant movement in the markets. If the markets finally start moving according to news again, we have seen a lot of decoupling here. We've seen an extended period of time where good news don't really seem to raise the prices and bad news don't really seem to push the prices down. The markets kind of seem to have unlinked from the news cycle. The hope for a lot of people now is that something really big like the SEC or Bakkt could provide would finally pretty much shake the markets out of it and increase movement again. But let's take a look at some news, and the first is a statement by a former Federal Reserve chair about Bitcoin, anything but useful. Let's actually read it to see what exactly she said here. And as always, all these articles are linked in the description. In the description you'll also find a bunch of ways to support the channel if you would so like. And my social media pages and email address where you can ask questions for a future question and answer video. Just a bunch of stuff in the description. Do take a look at it. And if you want these daily videos, make sure to subscribe. I keep forgetting to say that. Subscribe. Let's read this. Bitcoin is anything but a useful store of value, former US Federal Reserve Chair Janet Yellen stated in a speech on Monday, Canadian financial news outlet Kitco reported. Speaking during an interview at the 2018 Canada FinTech Forum in Montreal, Yellen, who rose to fame in the cryptocurrency community last year as the target of the now infamous Buy Bitcoin session at the House Financial Services Committee meeting, doubled down on her previous criticisms of the asset. It has long been thought that for something to be a useful currency, it needs to be a stable source of value, and Bitcoin is anything but, she claimed. Continuing, it's not used for a lot of transactions, it's not a stable source of value, and it's not an efficient means of processing payments. It's very slow in handling payments, it has difficulty because of its very decentralized nature. Now let's unpack this, okay? Let's unpack this. What exactly is she saying here? Now, she is talking about Bitcoin in terms of it being a currency. Now, of course, being a currency is not the only use for a token on a blockchain, but for at least for Bitcoin, it is probably considered the primary use, being either a currency or a store of value or both. And she says here it needs to be a stable source of value and Bitcoin is anything but. Now, so far so good. If you're applying that standard, if you think something is only useful if it has a stable value, then even with the relative stability that Bitcoin has shown in the last couple months, Bitcoin is not anywhere near as stable as traditional financial products and traditional currencies. That is absolutely true. But here we get into more issues. When she's talking about all these issues that Bitcoin legitimately has. It's not used for a lot of transactions. That's true. It's not a stable source of value. That's true. It's not an efficient means of processing payments. For Bitcoin, currently, using no sidechains, no additional products, just Bitcoin itself, that is also true. It's very slow in handling payments. That is true. All those things about Bitcoin are true. But there are two issues I see with it. First of all, she claims here that it has those difficulties because of its very decentralized nature. No, that is not the reason. Bitcoin doesn't have stability, efficiency issues, and speed issues because it's decentralized. All these newer cryptocurrencies which have advanced technology, which have innovated on what Bitcoin originally presented as the first major cryptocurrency. All these new technologies, they don't have those issues, but they're just as decentralized, if not more decentralized. Because for Bitcoin right now, you could argue that it is not very decentralized at all, with very few accounts holding most of the coins in existence. But all these newer technologies, all these newer cryptocurrencies, all these newer projects, Ethereum, EOS, XRP, everything, even Bitcoin's own hard forks, don't have these issues, at least to the same extent, if at all. So this is not because it's decentralized, and at this point she pretty much disqualifies herself as having anything useful to say about cryptocurrency. My second issue with this is that, first of all, she gets the just factual thing here wrong, that it doesn't have anything to do with it being decentralized. That is not the cause for this. Bitcoin's efficiency issues are because it's the first generation blockchain. Bitcoin pretty much had to invent how everything worked. So of course it wouldn't be the most high quality, the most progressive product. Newer products have innovated on that significantly. Newer blockchains don't have these issues. So no, this is not because it's decentralized. But my second issue with this is in attacking Bitcoin like this, she's not just attacking Bitcoin. She is attacking cryptocurrency as a whole. And I see this tactic a lot, where people will focus on Bitcoin and the legitimate issues that Bitcoin does have. Bitcoin does have issues. We can't just pretend it doesn't. That doesn't mean it's not useful. It doesn't have a potential use case. This doesn't mean it doesn't have a place. But it does have technical issues and limitations, and we have to admit that it simply does. We have overcome them with newer technologies, but Bitcoin has those issues. But what a lot of people do, a lot of crypto opponents, is they will highlight those issues that Bitcoin has, and they will either explicitly or implicitly use that to attack crypto as a whole. And I think here she is implicitly doing that, because when you talk about Bitcoin like this, and when you don't at least quickly point out that other cryptocurrencies don't have these issues, especially if you're talking to an audience full of people who are not that well versed in cryptocurrency, you are painting the image of cryptocurrencies as a whole having these issues, because Bitcoin is considered the representative one. So if you're just talking about Bitcoin and you're writing down all these negatives, and you don't make sure to at least quickly note that this is a Bitcoin exclusive problem, that more modern cryptocurrencies don't have these, you are painting all of cryptocurrency with a broad brush, even if you're not explicitly saying it, because that is how you know people will read your statements. You don't have to say that you're talking about crypto in general, because people will assume that you're talking about crypto in general, and people saying stuff like this know that. So this is essentially an attack on all of crypto with arguments that only apply to Bitcoin, and I don't like that. We see this a lot. But continuing on, back to the article. Having been present during Yellen's speech, Satoshi Portal CEO Francis Pouliot, I probably mispronounced it, I'm very sorry, was among the first to denounce her words on social media, describing them as the official NPC non-player character guidelines to Bitcoin FUD, courtesy of the Fed. I think the content of his statement is correct here. I'm not happy with using terms like NPC because they're too politically tainted. There's no problem with the term itself, but it has a bit of an image problem because it's being used very much by the far right, which isn't to say that there's an issue with being in the right wing, just that this might be seen as a bit of an image issue for cryptocurrency. I personally want cryptocurrency and cryptocurrency advocacy to be a bipartisan thing. I don't want this to be a political thing. So when I see heavily politically coded language like this, it always makes me a bit unhappy. I know that it originally doesn't come from the far right space, but that is where it's a very common term now. So I'm not happy with using that. even if it's not a legitimate issue with it, it's just a more of an image thing. I don't want crypto advocacy to be seen as political, and when people see statements like this, they think far right. I don't think crypto is either right or left wing. I think crypto is a new mode of how the international finance and the world can function, a technological evolution. And we should try to keep that as far away from politics as possible. We should try to keep that from becoming a partisan issue. But which isn't meant to be an attack on this guy or his statement here. This is just something that I personally pay attention to. But like I said, it's not meant as an attack here. At a press conference in December of last year, Yellen similarly called Bitcoin a highly speculative asset and not a stable source of value. She also noted that the Fed was not seriously considering the concept of a state-issued digital currency at the time. Yellen's speech on Monday echoes not only her own previous comments on crypto, but also those made earlier this month by economist Nouriel Roubini, who I also spoke about here, an outspoken cryptocurrency naysayer who foresees the entire ecosystem failing. If you remember my videos about him, I had many of these same issues here. He used legitimate issues with individual cryptocurrencies to paint the entire cryptocurrency market with one broad brush. That is just not, that is so many layers of logical fallacy. Commentators have taken Roubini to task over his comments, arguing his lack of understanding of decentralized cryptocurrency has led him, like Yellen, to draw false conclusions about its resilience. I can see a bubble where there is one, and to me this entire space has been the mother and the father of all financial bubbles, and now it's going to burst, he told Cointelegraph during an appearance at Block Show Americas in August. So here we have a former Fed, oh my god, what was her position? Chair, sorry. The former chair of the Fed, using pretty much unfair tactics here. Most of the things she is saying about Bitcoin are not technically incorrect, but in the way she said them, in the context she placed them, they sent other less conscious messages that I have an issue with about the entire crypto space. And I hate seeing this. I hate seeing how much of this we have to face. But it's gonna take a while for people to look deeper and to actually develop an understanding of what they're talking about and to be more fair in their assessments. Anyways, let's continue on. We're pretty much done with statements for today. From now on, it's just actual hard news. And there's a major issue with a cryptocurrency ticker. Now this, I considered including this because I was thinking, how newsworthy is it? How big is this app? But I just figured some of you might have it installed, so it's better you guys know about this. A Mac cryptocurrency ticker app installs Backdoors. This is directly from Malwarebytes Labs, so this is from the people whose entire job is to find malware and to protect people from it. And they have taken a look at this particular cryptocurrency ticker. An astute contributor to our forums, going by the handle OneVladimir, noticed that an app named CoinTicker was exhibiting some fishy behavior over the weekend. It seems that the app is covertly installing not just one but two different backdoors. And if you don't know what a backdoor is essentially when a software is supposed to do one thing, but then it allows somebody else covertly to access your system through well, covertly. It's just essentially, it opens up your computer system for attacks, lets other people access your data, your files, your internet connection, everything that you do or have on that computer, which of course for cryptocurrency in particular is a worry because a lot of people are keeping their tokens in wallets. And also, even if you're not keeping it in a software or hardware wallet, if you're keeping it on an exchange and you're typing in the password on your computer, this is very worrying because through that backdoor someone might be able to install a keylogger, which means that they could find out your password, for instance. But let's look at what actually happens here. The CoinTicker app on the surface appears to be a legitimate application that could potentially be useful to someone who is invested in cryptocurrencies. Once downloaded, the app displays an icon in the menu bar that gives information about the current price of Bitcoin. The app's preferences allow the user to customize the display, showing information about a wide variety of cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, and Monero. As you can see here, pretty much all the major tokens and markets. It looks like a very legitimate app. It's absolutely, like, on the face, it is a legitimate app that does its job. It's just in the background, it makes your computer a target. Although this functionality seems to be legitimate, the app is actually up to no good in the background, unbeknownst to the user. Without any signs of trouble, such as requests for authentication to root, there's nothing to suggest to the user that anything is wrong. And here it goes into details about what exactly is happening. This is very, very technical, and I don't think we really need to read this. But let's take a look at here the implications. Although it's unknown exactly what goal the hacker behind this malware had in mind, both actual and evil OS X, those are the two backdoors, are broad spectrum backdoors that can be used for a variety of purposes. Since the malware is distributed through a cryptocurrency app, however, it seems likely that the malware is meant to gain access to users' cryptocurrency wallets for the purpose of stealing coins. At first, this looked like it could have been a supply chain attack in which a legitimate app's website is hacked to distribute a malicious version of the app. Such attacks have happened multiple times in the past, such as when the transmission site was hacked twice to distribute Keyranger and Kidnap, or when a Handbrake mirror server was hacked to distribute Proton. However, on further inspection, it looks like this app was probably never legitimate to begin with. First, the app is distributed via a domain named coin-sticker.com. This is close to but not quite the same as the name of the app. Getting the domain name wrong seems awfully sloppy if this were a legitimate app. Adding further suspicion, it seems that this domain was just registered a few months ago on July 13th. So be careful. If you have this installed on your Mac, get rid of it. Run Malwarebytes or a similar software solution to really find if there is a backdoor on your computer, if malware has been installed on your computer, and get rid of it as quickly as you can. And please, please, please always remember to change your passwords and to have good passwords. Just felt the need to throw this in here. Just be careful, guys. Be careful. There have been a lot of attacks like this through crypto software, attacks on crypto exchanges, phishing attacks aimed towards crypto investors. A lot of people are trying to come for our coins. Be careful. Now some Coinbase news, who always seem to be in the news every single day. Yesterday we were talking about them letting some people go. Today we're talking about just how damn huge they have become. Coinbase, long one of the largest companies in the crypto industry, now ranks among the world's most valuable tech startups following the conclusion of a new funding round. The San Francisco-based cryptocurrency exchange operator announced on Tuesday that it had closed a $300 million Series E funding round led by Tiger Global Management. The funding round, which Coinbase president and COO Asif Hirji, I probably mispronounced that, sorry about that, said gave the company a valuation of more than $8 billion and also featured participation from Y Combinator Continuity, Wellington Management, Andreessen Horowitz, and Polychain Capital. Writing in the announcement, Hirji said that Coinbase, which recently outlined a new crypto token listing framework, plans to quickly list more cryptocurrencies, adding that we see hundreds of cryptocurrencies that could be added to our platform today, and we will lay the groundwork to support thousands in the future. Speaking with Bloomberg, he said that Coinbase did not need the funding as it achieved a record $380 million in profit in 2017, and despite the Bitcoin bear market, estimates that profit will grow to $456 million in 2018 with revenue approaching $1.3 billion. The companies interested in investing in us know that this is the next wave of tech innovation, he told the publication. This was an opportunistic round, we didn't have to go out and raise capital. Reports had long circulated that Coinbase had internally valued itself at $8 billion, though this valuation had not been confirmed by the market until now. According to Bloomberg, Coinbase had attempted to conduct the founding round at an even higher valuation, but found that the crypto market decline had made some investors hesitant about overpricing a cryptocurrency-focused startup. For this round, we simply weren't interested in taking investments from firms that didn't have a constructive view of crypto, he said. This round and the future of crypto in general needs to be more about more than asset prices. So this is very much a power move from Coinbase's side. They want everyone to know how big they are. Like they said here, they don't actually need that money right now. The only reason they did this funding round is that the only way you get a valuation that is approved, that is pretty much legitimate, is if you can prove that someone is willing to give you money based on that valuation. So they valued their company at $8 billion and they got money for it, and with this they are officially valued at $8 billion now, are one of the biggest startup tech companies in the world. If you just remember now, the biggest tech company in the world, or one of the biggest companies in the world in general, I'm not sure if it's the biggest, Apple, just reached 1 trillion. So this is almost 1% of the biggest company in the world, just for Coinbase, and Coinbase is still very, very new. And of course, hundreds of tokens coming in the future. They hadn't outright said that they're planning to introduce hundreds of new tokens soon, but this has been speculated for a while now with their new guidelines on how coins can get added to Coinbase. So they are very much aggressively pushing for more market share. They want everyone to know they are the big player in crypto, and it seems to be working with how much they're expanding. Of course, this is also very risky. The more you expand in a short time, the more money you collect from investors, the more you rely on making hundreds of millions a year, the more risk you put yourself into, the more people you hire, the more running cost you have. This could all backfire spectacularly if the market doesn't go where they want it to go. But for now, Coinbase very much wants everyone to know that they are the power player in crypto, and at a valuation of 8 billion that has been confirmed with this funding round, it's hard to come to any other reading here. Continuing on. I don't think I have actually ever talked about Icon on this channel, but I know some of you are big supporters and have asked me repeatedly, so when I saw some Icon news today, I jumped on the chance. They are now demoing 3 projects in Seoul, and let's see what the actual projects are. South Korean blockchain platform Icon continues to forge ahead with projects involving the local administration. This week it demoed 3 new initiatives in conjunction with the Seoul Metropolitan Government, ID card, voting system, and S-Coin payment. At the Seoul Metropolitan Government Blockchain International Digital Festival, that is a mouthful, this week Icon showcased its new offerings aiming to ease the lives of Seoul residents. According to a Medium post, the demonstrations have been the culmination of collaboration between Icon Loop and a number of government agencies, including the Korea National Information Society Agency and Korea National Election Commission. 3 main projects were showcased by the team, the first being a national blockchain-based citizen ID card. A user's details and photo was taken on a laptop, and the digital ID card transferred to a mobile phone once a QR code had been scanned. The system is a little rudimentary at the moment, but shows the potential this platform has with citizen-based applications. The second demo was of the Icon blockchain voting system, which was touted to be the next generation election system. A user registered a vote using the platform and is then rewarded with an S-Coin, which was pegged to the Korean won for this demo. The Korea National Information Society Agency and the Korea National Election Commission have collaborated on this project to digitize voting and embrace the equalities a blockchain can bring to the process. S-Coin payments were the third item on the agenda. This is a prototype cryptocurrency called Soulcoin aimed at digitizing payments across the city. Scanning a QR code of the product would transfer its details and price to a mobile app, which can then be used to make payment for it instantly using digital currency with no need for cash or cards. Icon has been very active building ties with the South Korean government in recent months. According to another blog post, Icon is actively leading state-level discussions with the government to accelerate the state of crypto legislation in the country. South Korea is one of the most crypto-friendly nations on the planet, and they clearly aim to keep that accolade. Icon's native token ICX, however, has not escaped the wrath of the bears over the past 24 hours and has fallen with the rest of the altcoins. At the time of writing, ICX is down 2.6% on the day to 63 cents, its lowest level for 2 weeks. So we see here Icon pretty much aggressively pushing for government collaboration in South Korea, and South Korea of course is probably next to the United States the most appealing market for crypto investment and for crypto technology to be developed. So they are very aggressively pushing here. Of course, these are all just projects that were demoed. Who knows which of these will ultimately A, become real market products, and B, be employed by the South Korean government. But it certainly appears that at least the Seoul municipal government is interested here, and that could be huge for Icon going forward. Okay, let's finish this video up with some Ripple news, or is it? Okay. Oh, okay, this doesn't want to show properly. Okay, I'm just gonna tell you guys what this is about. Some news has come out that that the latest addition to RippleNet, to Ripple's collaboration with banks and financial companies all over the world, would be Amor Finance, which is a Czech company. But I have an issue with this, and that is this partnership has been widely reported on. I found articles from I think 12 or 13 major crypto websites reporting on this partnership with Amor Finance, which is here based in Prague and the first Czech firm to be involved with RippleNet partnerships. But the thing is, I haven't been able to find a source for this anywhere. And I looked through a bunch of these articles, and they all seem to lead back to an article from A&B Crypto, titled Ripple adds another customer as investor sentiment for XRP rides high from 2 days ago. And this is the closest we have here to a source. They're saying here, according to a local news portal. Now, that portal isn't named, that portal isn't linked, so there is no way to make sure this is actually legitimate news right now. Which I don't think they would just be pulling this out of their ass completely, but I would like to see some kind of verification here. I tried to look for if there was an official tweet maybe from Ripple or Amor Finance, and all I found was an Amor Finance page with Twitter page with 3 followers that did not look very official, that tweeted about this. Like I said, it did not look official, but if this is true, that would be just one more in the long list of companies working with Ripple, and I'm hopeful this is true, because I don't think just completely fake news like this would appear on that many crypto pages, or at least I hope it wouldn't. But I wish they could actually provide a source. Like I said, according to a local news portal. This is the closest thing to an actual source for this information I have found, with nobody actually naming the news portal, and various articles actually link directly to this A&B Crypto article that doesn't actually have a source in it by itself. But like I said, if this turns out to be true, that would be the latest in a long line of companies working with Ripple. And we have seen this. We have seen Ripple pretty much add new companies to RippleNet pretty much every week. People are always either getting on Xcurrent, trialing Xrapid, considering using XRP. There's always news like this coming out pretty much every day. And we just had the quarterly report as well. So this is very much realistic. But I would put an asterisk next to this news for now, because we haven't had official confirmation from either side, and no one seems to be able to actually link to the original news article. Even if it's in a language I can't read, I would like to see that the article exists. I would like to be able to just quickly Google Translate it to see that it says something close to what is being claimed here. And especially with A&B Crypto, we've had a lot of issues the last couple of days with them being revealed to be publishing paid content without disclosing it, and with me going hard on one of the articles yesterday that appeared to be very, very much against journalistic integrity. And now we have another one here that doesn't link its source, but I think this is most likely just an oversight. It's very likely that this is a real announcement that just everyone somehow failed to link the actual original news source, and with A&B Crypto failing to link it, others who are taking their news from A&B Crypto also couldn't get it. So this is likely legitimate, but keep in mind, this might be fake news right now. We haven't seen official confirmation of that yet, to my knowledge. If someone has seen an official statement from either Ripple or from Amor Finance, I think they're called Amor Finance. Where is the name? Yeah, Amor Finance. If someone has seen an official statement from either side, let me know. But just like this, I would like to see some more. I would like to see an actual source for this. It seems very likely that this is real, but even if it does turn out to be real, you need to source your news, guys. You need to source your news. Give us links. And with that, I'm gonna end this video. As always, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy these daily news updates and discussion videos, make sure to subscribe. If you really enjoy, you can support me in a variety of ways, either with a monthly donation of $1 or $3 through Patreon, or with a one-off donation in crypto or through PayPal. All that stuff is in the description. There are also all the links to these articles, all in the description, because I source my news. And you'll also find links to my social media pages and an email address where you can ask questions. Thanks so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys soon.